1950s during our golden age, and we've been having such star directors as the legendary Sir Alfred Hitchcock, director of such classic films as Psycho and The Birds, will be passing his bungalow stages. And on the left, on occasion, we have to do exterior filming. It's usually done in our studio Backlot, which we'll be taking you past right now. Remember that our metro area is being used today.
For example, in just a second, over on your right, you're going to be looking at Brownstone Street. Brownstone Street stars that have walked up and down Brownstone Street over the years. You got Elvis Presley, Robert Redford, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ben Stiller, Jim Carrey, Angelina Jolie, all on the same street. That's some high property. But this courtyard we're moving into now is even more popular. This is one of the most Back to the Future. That City Hall building on your left-hand side was the clock tower in Back to the Future Parts 1 and 2. Now, some of you might be looking up at your screens and thinking, wait a second, that building looks different. And you know something? You're right. It does look different. Back to the Future was more than 30 years ago. And since then, I know, and like, that's just math, guys. I'm not trying to bum anybody out. Since Back to the Future, more than 1,000 other projects have filmed here. TV shows like Ghost Whisperer, CSI, Desperate Housewives, movies like Gremlins and Popstar and The Muppets. And the thing with all of those different productions is they film the same courtyard and they show you the same buildings, but they're telling you a different story. So they want you to think it's a different place every time, and that means they make everything look different. Our production designers come out here, they'll repaint the buildings, they'll change the colors, they'll change the material the buildings look like they're made out of, they'll renovate to change the shapes around, they'll redo all the signs and the decorations, they might even redo the landscaping to make it look like you're in a totally different city, different country, or different time period. And then when it's time to go to the big city, all you gotta do is turn the corner. Now this street is not always New York. This street appeared as Los Angeles. Give me a second, I'm having a little trouble with the mic. Alright, that might be a little better. This street was downtown LA in the first Transformers movie. This street was Moscow in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But most of the time, if you see this street on screen, we want you to think that you're looking at New York City. And Jimmy Fallon knows New York a little better than I do, so I'm going to throw things over to him for a minute.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Ferrari from the original series. We have some of the cars from Back to the Future Part 2, and Fred Flintstone's and Barney Rubble's cars from the live-action Flintstones movies. We have various cars from various Fast and Furious films. And even a gyrosphere from our international mega hits Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now each one of these vehicles looks unique. But for every one of these vehicles, we have multiple versions. Each version has its own purpose. Some of our picture cars are just little miniatures used for the special effects sequences. Some of the cars are there to look pristine and gorgeous, kind of like the stars themselves. Some of the cars are there to get thoroughly trashed. They're kind of like the stunt double. We have brought you into the lost world of Jurassic Park. Jurassic World movies, there are 5 of them right now, is that dinosaurs can be brought back from extinction. As far as I know, that is just in the realm of science fiction, or maybe in a Steven Spielberg movie, or in a Peter Jackson movie. But there are some scientists who say, oh yeah, we can get dinosaurs. Of course, I could be wrong about that. Maybe dinosaurs can be brought back from extinction.
On the left, it looks like a green RV. That is the mobile lab unit from the Lost World Jurassic Park, the second Jurassic film. None of the dinosaurs had cages in the movie. That is why there are bars on the windows. The dinosaurs are free roam. Keep your eyes open. We got free roam dinosaurs here in the studio. We might see them right now.
Or at least that big guy's not moving.
We have used this area for the Three Amigos, Criminal Minds Beyond Borders, even Season 1 of Westworld, filmed in certain portions of this location.
Big weather conditions, we cannot rely on Mother Nature to provide those. So frequently, we make our own. Here we are, we're starting with some thunder, got some lightning flashing on the left. Now let's get some rain to go with that. Hi guys, can we get some rain, please? And we have rain falling on the left. Now if you look at the rain, look a little higher, you'll see sprinklers shooting the water up into the air. When it falls, it looks just like the real stuff. And it can be wet and slippery like the real stuff. So please remain seated just to be safe, okay? But that's how we create rain here in Hollywood. Thanks guys, that was great. Guys, can we get the rain, please? Guys, are you listening to me up there? Hello? Here, rumblings. Uh-oh, you put on the left. Remember what I said about getting wet, especially from the left. Don't worry about all that water. We are very water conscious here at NBC Universal. We're not going to waste any of it. It'll be back at the top of the hill in about 15 seconds. We believe in recycling. Yes, we do. This is what that flash flood looked like in the film Big Fat Liar. We are going past our western sets over here on the left, where we do have a TV show filming today. We do so much filming in that area. In fact, a major motion picture was filming there just a few months ago. But primarily westerns. In fact, when we started filming on this hillside 100 plus years ago, we were primarily filming westerns.
Transylvania for Dracula. This was Vienna for Frankenstein. Over the years, this village has appeared as Paris, Rome, Amsterdam. It's not always Europe. It was South America for Criminal Minds.
Short, quiet zone for the filming of Hope and Family. Where we're bringing the tram now is in a soundstage, so I just need everybody to remain seated, hold on to their belongings. We don't want to drop anything onto the set here. They're giving us a great opportunity.
We have an underground subway station. We're driving along the subway tracks, a little on the bumpy side, so let's remain seated while we're in here. The Boeing folks turned this into the Washington Metro. Right now,
Okay, don't worry about that at all. We get earthquakes in California all the time, so it's nothing to be worried about. Okay, hold on to your belongings. Hold on to your loved ones. This looks like it's the big earthquake we've been waiting for. This is it. This is the big one. Hold on. We're gonna ride this out.
okay. This was more like an 8.3 earthquake on the Richter scale. Hold on to belongings. This one's a big one.
Oh no, look on the right-hand side. Not again!
Picture that shark. Let's check this out for our
Coast beach than a West Coast beach, so it's not very sandy, but we have that little harbor town. And look, oh, there's a shark in the water. This is perfect timing. Oh, you're gonna get such good photos. I love it when this happens. That's so cool when we get to see stuff like that. Oh, there's still a diver out by the boat. Pete, did you see the shark? It looked like it was headed for you. Pete, are you okay? Can you give me like a wave or a thumbs up? Pete? Oh, for Pete's sake, we're gonna have to call that in. But don't panic, folks. We're perfectly safe here on the tram. We'll just pull forward here and hang out behind these highly flammable gasoline tanks because that's not dangerous or weird at all. Well, if it's in the gas lags, that could be a problem, but I don't think anything's gonna get. Okay, yeah, that's good. Filming Jaws, that shark was all kinds of trouble.
Also recognize this area from the TV series Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. For 12 years, Jessica Fletcher rode her bicycle past the cottages
of Texas, starring Dolly Parton. The Chicken Ranch is a practical set. What that means, the Chicken Ranch is a full structure. We can film on the outside of this building, and we can go into the inside for filming. We don't need a soundstage for our interior scenes. The Chicken Ranch, again, a full structure. Now, for anybody on board the tram today who was a fan of ABC's Desperate Housewives, we have a treat. We are about to take a trip down Wisteria Lane. And I want to list off several of the housewives' houses while we're here. On our left, this beige house with columns. That house belonged to Gabrielle Solis, played by Eva Longoria. Eva Longoria just got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this last year. We're very happy for her. On the left, this house that has stone on the bottom, this belonged to Susan Meyer, played by Terry Hatcher. Susan's neighbor, this gray house that we're seeing with a red door, that belonged to Lynette Scalvo, played by Felicity Huffman. Now, the show Desperate Housewives filmed on this street for 8 years, 8 seasons. They are finished now, and they're filming a new show here. At the end of the street, we want to make sure to see this house. This set, you are seeing this set before it is ever on TV. This greenhouse right here, it got remodeled for a new show called Abby's. Now that is a show that is not even on TV yet, but in the future, look for a show called Abby's and look for that house. This belonged to Bree Vandekamp, played by Marsha Cross. But for anybody on board today who's a fan of the original Munsters, the black and white TV show, look at this purple house on the right here. The original Munsters home, 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Looks totally different without the black and white and monster aesthetic surrounding it. But that is the original home. Now, here on this street, it's called Wisteria Lane on Desperate Housewives. Here on the Universal lot, we call it Colonial Street. It's used as any residential neighborhood. It was used for Law & Order True Crime, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Leave It to Beaver.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good name.
What the heck? Let's move back.
We've done so much filming. I like that idea. A couple of days ago, we had a commercial filming on this street. In fact, lots and lots and lots of commercials get filmed here. It's very popular. And I think you can see why. This looks like a typical American neighborhood. Well, as we continue on, I think there's a car over here on the left that you... 1970s Charger, that black car there. That looks exactly like Dominic Toretto's car in the Fast and Furious movies. I wonder what it's doing here.
Dr. Seuss is how the Grinch stole Christmas. What we are seeing, the last standing sets of this production, some Pooh houses. This movie is 18 years old, came out in 2000. And that was enough time for them to make another Grinch movie. There is one in theaters right now, a Grinch for a whole new generation. But here on the lot, we live next door to a psycho. From Alfred Hitchcock's legendary film, Psycho, we have the original Psycho house.
Where Norman lives with his mother. But the Psycho house is neat. It's built slightly undersized.
Spend the night at the Bates Motel. Not at all. Oh no. Now don't worry, we're going to take you onto a completely different film set. This is a totally different movie. Norman cannot follow us here. This is the spectacular plane crash set from the Steven Spielberg blockbuster War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good.
On our screens, this is the scene out of the movie itself. Some of you may be looking at the plane and wonder, is that made out of wood like the tank from earlier? No. It is a real Boeing 747 purchased by the production for $60,000. The shipping fee, $200,000.
A lot of directors might have settled for a computer-generated plane, but not Steven Spielberg. He wanted the real deal. And if Steven Spielberg says he needs a real plane, he's gonna get a real plane.